Do you ever wonder who will truly stand by your side as you age and everything around you shifts? It's a question that many of us don't ask ourselves until it's already too late. In our younger years, we gather people, friends, colleagues, neighbors, classmates, and assume that many of them will be there when we need them most. But time has a way of revealing the truth. As we grow older, the circle tightens, and what matters most isn't how many people you know, but which ones truly remain. Those who show up, listen intently, and care deeply. In this video, we'll explore the 4 types of friends who can truly be relied upon as you age. These are the relationships that go far beyond casual conversations and polite small talk. These are the connections that offer comfort during silence, strength during hardship, and joy in everyday moments. And perhaps most importantly, we'll also highlight why some people, despite their familiarity, might not be the kind of friends you should depend on when life gets tough. So if you've ever questioned who should remain in your life moving forward, stick with us. By the end of this video, you might look at your relationships in a whole new way and perhaps feel inspired to invest more deeply in the ones that really matter. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications so you never miss a video. Your support allows us to continue creating content that informs and inspires. Let's dive in. Number 1. A friend who hears you without judgment. There's something truly special about being listened to. Really heard without interruption, correction, or subtle disapproval. Sadly, that kind of listening is rare, especially as we age, when people often assume they've heard our stories before or believe they know better. That's why one of the most priceless friends you can have is someone who simply offers their undivided attention, without attempting to fix, criticize, or steer the conversation. Just a steady, silent presence who respects your voice and makes space for your truth. Let me share Irene's story. She's 79, and for years, she'd grown accustomed to polite smiles and half-hearted nods whenever she tried to share something meaningful. Her children often interrupted her, and her neighbors were friendly, but always in a hurry. That was until she reconnected with Grace, a friend from decades ago, and realized how much she missed being truly heard. Over coffee, Grace didn't offer advice or distraction. She simply listened. No phones, no interruptions, just full, undivided attention. Irene later said it was the first time in years she'd felt like her words actually mattered. As we age, we carry with us so many stories, regrets, hopes, and grief. Sometimes all we need is a witness, someone who won't analyze or respond, but just sit with us in silence, acknowledging that our words still carry weight. When you find that kind of friend, the one who gives you the space to be heard without rushing you, who isn't uncomfortable with silence, you've discovered something rare. Studies in psychology confirm that truly being listened to can reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and improve cognitive health. But beyond science, it simply offers peace. When someone listens without judgment, they're telling you still matter. And that's something we all need, especially as the world speeds up and many older adults can feel left behind or silenced. A friend who listens becomes a mirror, not just reflecting your words, but your worth. But here's the important part. You must also strive to be that kind of friend. Be the one who listens, who puts away distractions, who genuinely asks follow-up questions, not just because it's polite, but because you truly care to understand. This kind of presence holds more power than most realize. Because when life quiets down and the world becomes smaller, there are few things more comforting than knowing there's someone who will still sit with you, listen attentively, and make room for everything you need to say. Number 2, a friend who reaches out regularly. There's something quietly powerful about a person who makes it a point to check in, not just on special occasions or during major events, but simply as part of the everyday rhythm of life. A short call, a quick text, an unannounced visit. These small acts can mean the difference between feeling seen or forgotten, especially for older adults. Take Samuel, for instance. At 74, his life had become much quieter after he retired and moved to a smaller town. While his neighbors were polite, they were distant, and his children lived far away. Most days, Samuel kept busy with hobbies, but his evenings felt lonely. That changed when Earl, a longtime fishing buddy, began calling him every Sunday afternoon just to chat. They didn't talk about anything earth-shattering, just shared jokes, discussed the weather, or reminisced about old trips. But that simple check-in became a lifeline. What makes a friend like Earl so rare is that they don't wait for something to be wrong. They don't only show up in times of crisis. They show up because they care. That kind of regular presence builds trust, something that grows more valuable with age. As we get older, life naturally shrinks. Social circles narrow. Health can limit mobility. Old routines fade. That's why friends who initiate contact regularly, without being asked, without waiting for a reason, are so special. They send a clear message: you're still in my thoughts. Regular social connections support emotional well-being. Research shows that older adults who maintain consistent contact with friends are less likely to experience depression, cognitive decline, or feelings of isolation. But more importantly, it creates a rhythm, a reliable presence in the background of your life, something to look forward to and depend on. And if you have a friend who checks in regularly, you already understand the comfort this brings. But if you don't, consider becoming that friend. Set a reminder. Choose a day each week. Call someone, text them, or visit them. Make it a routine, not out of obligation, but because you understand how much it means to be remembered. Because when someone takes the time to check in, especially when nothing's wrong, it sends an even louder message. You still matter. I'm here for you. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss a video. Your support helps us continue creating content that inspires and informs. Let's move on. Number 3, a friend who shares values and grows together. As we age, our desire for meaningful connections grows. We crave depth, alignment, and, most importantly, companionship with people who understand the life we're striving to live. That's why one of the most rewarding friendships in later years is one that's built on shared values. Someone who's on a similar path and mindset, if not necessarily in lifestyle. Margaret, an 82-year-old retired teacher, had many acquaintances, people she could chat with at the community center or exchange pleasantries with during walks. It wasn't until she met Helen in a book club that she realized something was missing. They both loved reading, but more importantly, they both thrived on exploring new ideas, respectfully debating, and challenging one another's thinking. It wasn't just a casual friendship, it nourished her mind and spirit. When you share values with someone, every conversation feels richer. You laugh a little harder, reflect a little longer, and leave feeling more energized. It's not about agreeing on everything. It's about caring deeply about the same things: kindness, honesty, curiosity, resilience, or whatever matters most to you. This kind of friendship doesn't just fill time, it helps you grow. Even in your later years, you're still evolving, still learning, still refining your beliefs. A friend who shares your values acts as both a mirror and a challenge, affirming your direction and gently stretching your thinking. Studies in gerontology show that seniors who maintain friendships centered on mutual respect and shared purpose experience greater life satisfaction and emotional resilience. And they don't just feel happy, they feel fulfilled because they feel understood. In old age, being understood is one of the most nourishing experiences. It's easy to assume that friendships must be rooted in history, how long you've known someone, or the experiences you've shared. But the truth is, some of the most powerful connections can begin later in life, when two people realize they see the world in a similar way. So if you find someone who makes you think, who makes you feel aligned, who encourages your best self, hold on to them. Nurture that connection, because those friends remind you not just of who you were, but of who you're still becoming. Number 4, a friend who shows up during hard times. There are friends who are fun at social gatherings, friends who share hobbies, friends who are always interesting to talk to. But when life gets tough, when illness strikes, when grief settles in, or when everything seems a bit too heavy, you quickly learn who truly belongs in your circle. A true friend in old age is the one who doesn't vanish when things get difficult. They lean in, they stay, they show up. Take Walter, an 85-year-old widower who had built a happy life with his wife of 52 years. When she passed, the silence in his home was overwhelming. The funeral was full and the cards came in, but within a week, the phone call stopped and the visit slowed. Most of his friends didn't know what to say, so they simply said nothing. Except for Ray, a church friend. Ray didn't ask if he needed anything. He just showed up with coffee and sat beside him. No advice, no solutions, just presence. That kind of friend is rare. The one who stays when others pull away, the one who doesn't rush you to feel better or fix your pain, they simply sit with you in it. When you find a friend like that, you realize just how precious their presence is, not only in times of celebration, but in moments of sorrow. These friends don't need to say the perfect thing, they just need to be there. At the hospital, at the kitchen table, on the other end of the phone line when sleep doesn't come. And often, it's not the frequency of their presence that matters. It's the depth, the sincerity, and the fact that they show up without being asked. Research in aging psychology shows that a supportive friend during difficult times can reduce the risk of long-term depression and emotional withdrawal. It's not about fixing the problem, it's about not being alone in it. About having someone there who can hold space when the world feels shaky. And let's face it, old age may bring wisdom and freedom, but it also brings its fair share of difficult moments. Losses, health issues, and the challenges of aging. In those times, it's not about having 50 people in your phone contacts. It's about having one person who's right there with you. So ask yourself, who would sit with you in a waiting room? Who would check in to see if you made it home? Who would drop off a meal without expecting anything in return? That's the friend you want to keep close. If you're still watching and gaining insights, comment a number force below to let me know you're here. And remember to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. Your support helps us create valuable content. Let's wrap up. As we age, we often believe that having a lot of friends means we're loved and successful. But as life teaches us, it's not about how many friends you have, it's about which ones truly remain. The ones who listen without judgment, the ones who reach out for no reason, the ones who share your values, and the ones who stay when life gets tough. These are the friendships that hold us together when everything else feels like it's falling apart. Take a moment to reflect. Who are your for? Who has truly shown up, not just when things were easy, but also when they were hard, everything. And even more importantly, who are you being that kind of friend to? Because friendship in old age is about mutual care. It's about being present, being real, and being steady. The years ahead can be deeply meaningful, not because of the number of people around you, but because of the strength of the few connections you can truly rely on. So choose wisely, and once you've found your people, hold them close. True friendships don't just comfort you. They preserve your dignity, nurture your spirit, and remind you that no matter your age, you are still loved. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment below, sharing one thing you learned today and how you plan to apply it. Your thoughts mean a lot to us, and reading them inspires us to keep creating content that informs and motivates. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.